Man, don't you think we've been getting a little too serious lately with like good game design, bad game design, oh this practice or this thing theory and not? Why don't we go back to what makes Smash so fun and why many of us play it? Why don't we talk about a character that's really close to many gamers' hearts, as he was one of the first characters in Super Smash Bros. And even today is recognized as one of Nintendo's cutest characters. So crack open those eggs and flutter jump to your seat because it's Yoshi's Know Your Moves. Yoshi is a character that I hold very dear to myself, as he's a constant reminder of my first years of gaming. As I've said many times on this channel, Super Mario World was one of the first games I ever owned, and coincidentally, it's the first game Yoshi made a playable appearance in. And this is how many of us remember Yoshi, being your little sidekick to help Mario through some of the toughest levels in the Mushroom Kingdom, or I guess Dinosaur Land at that point. Now you've probably heard this through the grapevine, but Miyamoto actually wanted Yoshi to be a part of the Mario series in Super Mario Bros. But due to the hardware of the NES, they could only truly make it happen in the way they envisioned on the SNES and Super Mario World. And God, I could gush about this game for years because it was my first game. I love it so much, and it really did shape me as the gamer and the man you see before you today. But today, we're talking about Yoshi's moves in Super Smash Bros. And how they relate to his legacy. And actually, his history isn't all that deep. He was inspired from an earlier character named Tamagon in Devil's World, a game both Miyamoto and Tezuka made, but after he finally got a playable appearance, bam, he was everywhere. And you know, as a kid, my parents knew I liked Super Mario World, so they kept downloading me new Mario games every year for Christmas and my birthday, and you can bet Yoshi was in each of them. After Super Mario World and Yoshi's Island, Yoshi became a regular part of the Mario crew. Not having him here would actually feel pretty weird because he's become such a staple part of the Mario franchise. And I feel like this perception of Yoshi isn't just exclusive to me. Yoshi has become an icon of gaming. Many a times I'll be at a social event or out in public and talk to people who may have outgrew gaming or don't game at all, and Yoshi will always be a character that they can resonate with. Just like everyone loves Yoshi, except, some of you in the audience, for some reason or another, you're gonna hate this cute, lovable dino. For what did he do to you? What did Yoshi ever do to you? Yoshi was always just there for you. He's always there helping you. If you needed a soldier to cry on, he was there for you. Yoshi was there when nobody else was, and what do you do? What do you do to him? You go and kiss your ex behind his back after you told him you love him, and you go and do that to me? You think you're gonna do that to me? I ain't gonna deal with you anymore because I don't need that shit! Well, I just think there is something very perfect about Yoshi's design that draws us all to him. In Smash Bros, Yoshi is no different. In each of the Super Smash Bros games, the way they design him vary just a little bit, where you can see some of the older ones reflected the Super Mario World, Mario riding on Yoshi, then later versions of the character walking upright similar to how he did in his main series of games. We can finally see the dino as the character he should have been. He's standing straight up, hip-hopping to the beat of his hearts with the tender look in his eyes and the joyful glee that makes us all grin ear to ear. It's Yoshi. This is the Yoshi I remember from my young days, playing the super lighthearted Yoshi story at my cousin's house. Man, why does being an adult suck? First, I think it's worth showing you a side by side by side by side. It's all the iterations of Yoshi in Smash Bros. And I've gotta say, he's a great character to showcase just how far the Smash series has come in both graphics and theme. Can you believe it's been nearly 20 years since the first game? Sakurai must be feeling old as hell. Seriously, I think out of all the original 12, Yoshi benefited the most from the changes in Smash 4. I mean, DK just got real fur and Jigglypuff just got more anime. Next, let's take a look on how they actually implemented Yoshi into Smash Bros. And since he was in Smash 64, the only real games that we have to turn to are some of his earlier ones: Yoshi's Island, Yoshi's Story, and Super Mario World. His main move archetype stems from him using his most notable and memorable traits. That's right, many of his specials utilize his tongue and his eggs in a similar fashion to how they appeared in his games. Now, obviously not all of his moves use these traits, so what else do we got? Well, like other characters, normal moves are drawn from a character's personality and anatomy. And because Yoshi has these tiny T-Rex arms...
All the dinosaurs feared the T-Rex.
We see him utilize, for one, his feet, but also his huge nose and tail. Speaking of big feet, the first ability that centers around Yoshi's Smash moveset is his unique double jump, the Flutter Jump. This was a mechanic introduced in Yoshi's Island that allowed Yoshi to hover in midair after his initial jump. It allowed for more calculated and safer jumps in the game, which leaned towards the game being more beginner friendly. In Smash, while it's less fluttery, it actually removes the need for a recovery move because the double jump goes so high. But in later Smashes, they kind of gave a little hop to the egg throw, just in case. I don't know. We also see the flutter jump in his downward aerial being more of a flutter kick where he lets out a barrage of fast kicks that feel oh so satisfying to let out on an opponent. As I mentioned, his specials are where the majority of his iconic moves are shown. His neutral special is his famous egg lay, where he licks you up and shoots you out of his somewhere as an egg.
Alright, that was uncalled for.
Here you can move through the air with relative ease, but are vulnerable to gaining percent. Now this is heavily used in the Yoshi games, as the egg lay lets Yoshi turn enemies into eggs to throw them. This whole building up enough eggs is a vital mechanic in the Yoshi series of games and lets you solve puzzles but also move through levels. But this move may have older origins, as we can first see a form of this move used in Super Mario World. Speaking of the egg throw, that is his up special. Now, it's different from how it works in the games, as you don't need to aim with a dotted line thingy and then shoot. Instead, you dictate the angle Yoshi throws it by angling the analog stick. This will make it so angling in will make the arc smaller and angling out will make the arc bigger. You also don't have to worry about running out of eggs either, as he just throws them willy-nilly. Which makes me think more about it. It would have been really neat if somehow, someway, it was similar to Olimar, where Yoshi could only use certain moves if he had enough eggs saved up. And then I guess he'd have to run around and go get more, somehow. You could even rework his grab, so instead of him shooting them out of his mouth, he actually eats them, puts them into an egg, and throws them in any direction. Another egg-related move is his side special, the egg roll. And boy is this yolk running, as it's basically a moving attack that does weak damage. Now because you're in the egg, it will go through some attacks, but stronger ones will break Yoshi right out of there. And I've gotta say, it's quite satisfying stomping that egg with Ganondorf's Stomp.
I take Yoshi how I take my eggs. Dead. I also have a thirst for blood and murder.
Now this doesn't have any specific origins, I just feel that Sakurai thought, an egg rolls around a lot, and it would make sense for it to be a Yoshi type move. However, in Yoshi's story, there is this one power-up called the Turbo Tulip that lets Yoshi roll around at the speed of sound. You get what the fuck I'm saying. It basically does it in the same fashion, so it could have been taken from this game. Yoshi also goes into his egg for his shielding and dodge animations. And even if it's not related to anything, I still think it's one of the coolest shield and dodge animations in all of Smash. Then, there's the Yoshi Bomb.
Mario, I don't know how to tell you this. No, Mario, you must please, Mario.
Better known as the ground pound. The first time we see this used is by Bowser in Super Mario Bros. 3, but Yoshi adds it to his arsenal.
I hate myself too, everyone.
In all of the Yoshi titles as early as Yoshi's Island. The Smash version is similar to this, except the move can be used both in the air and on the ground, where if you are on the ground, the destination of the stomp is just right in front of Yoshi. And then lastly is Final Smash, Super Dragon. Now I started doing the research for this video and I actually had no clue that it related to Super Mario World. It threw me for a loop, I actually didn't know. It references the special abilities of the colored Yoshis in that game, where there are 4 different colored Yoshis that had different traits given to them when they ate a Koopa shell. Now the green Yoshi could still get these traits, but only if he ate the corresponding Koopa shell, with red giving fire breath, blue giving flight, yellow giving this
this my shit. All the girls stomp your feet like this.
And green just being shot out like a shell. And that's kind of weird how the Yoshi and Koopa interact. What if one day a Koopa changed their shell color? Would that make a red Koopa a green Koopa? And would that change Yoshi's abilities? What if they painted their shell? Would Yoshi be tripped up when he starts to fly and then he just starts falling? He's like, fuck, it's actually a red shell. What? The flight and fire abilities are obvious ones in the Final Smash, and since Yoshi's airborne for most of it, I guess the stomp couldn't be included. As for any final moves we missed, there is his grab that also utilizes Yoshi gobbling up enemies and spitting them out in the corresponding direction of choice. Of course, Yoshi can do this in his games as well without actually turning enemies into eggs. And believe it or not, his famous old taunt actually has roots in Yoshi's story. If you leave him idle near an important object, he looks around and he lets you know there's something there. He's like, yo, hey, yo, look. Yeah, Toon Link isn't actually the first one to do this, you fucking idiot. We also have his victory pose that references the end level pose from that game. And the victory theme that's an arrangement of the title screen. The other victory poses come from the character select pose in Smash 64, and this. And I gotta say, with Ryu being in Smash now, it's finally come full circle. And if you didn't know, this has been a running joke since Smash 64 where Yoshi is in this Akuma pose. One of the coolest things about looking at a character like Yoshi is we can see how the Smash series has changed and how he's changed as a character in it. If we go back to the side-by-side comparison, we can see just how much more lively he is with his colors brightened and his posture fixed. I truly do think that this Yoshi in Smash Bros. Is the definitive version of the character. That was actually a pretty well fleshed out joke for you. Well, anyways, everyone's gonna have their opinion on which of these Yoshis looks the best, and I'm sure you will too. But one of the coolest things about Yoshi as a character is we can look through all the Smashes and see what exactly changed. First, his up tilt. It was changed from a head bop to this upward tail swipe. His forward tilt was changed from a kick to a tail swipe as well. His dash attack changed from a laggy head tackle to this cute kicking trip attack. His up special in Smash 4 was given a rainbow effect as the eggs are thrown, which could be a reference to Yoshi always having a theme towards rainbows in the Mario sports games. His up smash also changed from Brawl to Smash 4, which really threw me for a loop because he's out here flipping like Melee Fox. After looking into it, it kinda makes sense. See, they already had 2 smash attacks utilizing his head, but nothing that utilized his feet. And with the flutter jump being one of Yoshi's most iconic traits, maybe they thought it was time for him to have a new up smash. And I have to say, it works with Yoshi's character pretty well. Smash 4 also let Yoshi realize the sheer amount of color Yoshis that exist in Yoshi's Island. And finally, we can have a black and purple one. You know I like that! The only ones missing from Yoshi's story in Yoshi's Island are the orange and white ones, so, I mean, maybe they have a bias towards creamsicles, I don't know. Smash Bros. Yoshi really aligns with how the general public perceives the character, and I mean, that may seem like a no-brainer, Yoshi, but look at Melee and look at Brawl. That was Yoshi for sure, but it's not even close to how they represented him in Smash 4. This one is like the definitive version of the character, and it really takes me back to when I first played Super Mario World and Yoshi's story, and how I really felt when I saw that cute, lovable character squealing as he did his flutter jump. But we've talked about all the Yoshis in Smash today. My question to you, though, is which one of them was your favorite? Which one of them do you have the most memories with, whether competitively or casually? I know Melee Yoshi is the one from my childhood, but the Smash 4 one is leagues better in terms of design, and I think it is the definitive Yoshi. But I'm interested in hearing your opinions in the comments, so please put them down below. Anyways, if you liked this video, please like it, and if you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know why not. We have a lot more characters to do in Smash before we've completed the whole roster, so if you're interested in a certain character, please comment below on which one you want to see. Anyways, this has been Alax. This time, I won't be giving a tip on what the character is, so I'll see you on the flip side. Oh, I gotta shit.